Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mark here, checking in at Ditching a Drink. Hope you guys are well. In this video, I'm going to talk about my admission to a detox centre here in the UK and my experiences with it. So I can give you what it was like for me and what you should expect if you are due to be admitted into a detox here in the UK. So I'll tell you the full story of how I got admitted and how long I was in there and what they did and stuff. So yeah. Around 10.5 months ago, I was at the wit's end of my drinking. I tried every which way possible to try and stop drinking, and I couldn't knock it in the head for any prolonged amount of time, or time enough to get better physically and mentally. So it got that bad. My mental health started playing up. I was physically addicted to the vodka at this point, and the only way out one evening, I thought, was to end my life, and I was very, very close to doing so. Fortunately, I was that drunk. I think I rang a friend who rang an ambulance, who brought the police with them and took my front door off to get to me, to take me to accident and emergency, where I was took in a room there and assessed by the mental health services and the drug and alcohol addiction services in the hospital overnight. From what I can remember of this, I can't remember too much, to be honest with you, but I can remember vague parts of it. They kept me in like a little bed. It was like there weren't much of a room, to be honest, in the A&E. It was like just rather than a bed as such, it was just like a wooden fucking bench with no like mattress on it or anything. There was no plug sockets in the room. There was nothing. It was just a floor and this wooden thing to lay on. And I got assessed in there, and I think I just told them I'm at my wit's end with my drinking. I've tried everything. I've tried doing it myself. I've tried all these different options, and it doesn't seem to be working, and it's making me very unwell. So they kept me in overnight in the A&E bit, and they decided that they were going to send me to an emergency admission to a detox centre called Chapman Barker here in the UK. It's at Prestwich Hospital, which is a mental health hospital. There's some very unwell people in there, but the unit I was in specialised in addiction, not just to alcohol, to other substances, whether it be cocaine, solvents, stuff like that, and weed, prescription drug addictions and stuff like that. And I was scared because I got sent. I had to stay in the A&E bit. I remember it being about 12:30, and then my bed was ready at the detox centre. So a gentleman and a lady and a gentleman took me in the ambulance to the detox place, where I was greeted by the staff on arrival. They gave me a breathalyzer test on arrival and recorded that straight away. And at the time it was the last lockdown, so I was placed in isolation. So in the detox centre there was isolation part of the hospital, and there was the main part. For the most part, for the first 3 or 4 days, while they did the coronavirus test on me and come back negative, they put me in the isolation bit, which was just a room. I think there was about six rooms next to each other, all in isolation. You couldn't mix with the main population of the detox, so I was just isolated on there 3 or 4 days. Meals brought into you. The only time you could leave your room was either for a cigarette, very often, or to go to the toilet. Apart from that, there's not much you could have done really, apart from be on your phone and stuff like that. So they put me in there. They give me the blood test and stuff, and measured my liver enzymes, stuff like that, and set up a recovery plan in there for me, which consisted of taking medicine to get rid of the withdrawals, because this was what I was in there for, to do a safe detox. The withdrawals can be that bad with alcohol. They tend they advise that you don't stop it straight away, and the amount I was consuming, it was very dangerous for me not to. It would have been dangerous for me to stop alcohol straight away without professional supervision, so that's why they decided with my consumption at the end of my drinking, and when I got admitted to A&E with a suicide attempt, that they would put me in there. And I was quite fortunate really, because I didn't know these places existed. I didn't know what a detox was. I knew what the word meant, but I didn't know there was actual places out there what specialised in alcohol detoxification. So I was quite lucky that I was to get in really, because people have been waiting up to 3 and 4 years to get into these places, and they give me an overnight admission. So I've got to be grateful for that, because from that admission it's changed my life. So what they do is they put you in the medication queue after they took the blood test, put you on a course of Librium, which is what I was on. I was also on thiamine, acamphosate, and something else. The worst part of the medicine side of the detox when I was in there was you had to have 3 big needles like that up your bum. Well, not up your bum as such, but in the bum cheek. And you had to have these because it was beneficial for your body to repair all the nutrients and everything lost what the vodka had took away over the months and years of me drinking, because I wasn't eating properly. So my body was fighting for these vitamins and nutrients that was needed for me to repair fully in the detox, to get it out of my system safely and effectively. So what they did was they come into your room with these needles. It was 1 a day for the first 3 days. And when I say they were like that big, they were they like bent you over the side and just straight in sort of thing. It did hurt for a bit, but it must have done something right, because I come out the other end, and the only requirement they asked you to do to while you was in there is you had to attend recovery meetings and recovery sessions, whether it be smart recovery was in there, there's pet therapy, there was like audible recovery, there was all sorts of different things, and like meditation recovery, and I chose AA as one of my routes of recovery, because I could relate to what people were saying in there. It was just like me and another alcoholic talking about where alcohol took them, and I could relate to it, and they explained that I was missing something, and that it's a mental and physical addiction, and I could totally get that, and it just resonated with me that that's what it is, and it is. As much as the detox took the alcohol out of me physically, I was still left with this mental head which said it was okay to go drinking again, and I've still got that today. I mentioned that in a video, so I'm not going to touch on that. But in terms of the detox, when I first got in there I was scared, didn't know what to expect. The first 3 or 4 days were absolutely fucking hell. I was sweating buckets, couldn't sleep, hallucinating, audible hallucinations. I thought the walls were coming in, I thought people were speaking about me, I thought people were trying to get in the window, and that's no lie. This ain't, this is serious shit. This is what it was like. This is why I had to go to detox, because this is why I didn't want to stop drinking, because of this. I thought people tried to crawl in the windows. I felt like spiders running up and down my back and up my legs. I had the shaking legs, sweating buckets, whether it was cold at night or hot. I was sweating buckets with them plastic sheets. Couldn't eat for the first 5 or 6 days, and then started to get my appetite back, started to eat a little, and then in the end I was eating 3 meals a day and put on about 1.5 stone in 2 weeks, which was good for me, because my weight was pretty bad towards the end, because the vodka just stripped me of all weight, and I was just becoming like a stick. Very inward here in the face, and quite yellow, and eyes sunken. That's at 28, and that's what alcohol had done, and that's why I was so embarrassed to even walk out the door, in the end of my drinking, because I didn't want my friends and my family to see me in this state. But they fixed me up, they did a very, very good job. I've met some good people in there, I still speak to some of them today, and what I recommend you do is when you get in there, there's going to be temptation of trying to make these new friends and stuff like that, and people are in there for their own addictions. Mine was alcohol, there was other things in there was like Subutex addiction and stuff like that, and I couldn't really speak to those sort of people. Well, I did, like, you know, just to be civil, but don't. What I recommend you do is, if you're going to get an admission, keep your head down and just do it. Treat it like a prison sort of thing, you know. You're in there for 2 weeks to get better. You're not in there to make friends. You're not in there to have the crack. You're not in there to have the banter, because you will see little groups of people like having fun, trying to have fun, and people like nipping out, going to the shop, try and get a drink, and they get kicked out. And if you're serious about wanting to get well, it does work. If you're not serious, you're just going to walk out of there, wasted 2 weeks, and go back drinking. So do what they suggest. Do everything they tell you. They're not doing it to be on your fucking back and be an arse. They're doing it to get you better. It's what these people are paid to do, you know. And I took on everything, every single thing they told me to take, every single thing they told me to do, every single thing they told me to do after I got out, I've done. And it's not irony that I'm, you know, nearly 11 months sober now. It does work. Just do what they tell you. Take what they tell you. Don't question it. Just take it. You obviously know what they're talking about. You know, I wanted to know what all this Librium was, but I don't really care, as long as it's getting me better. I know what it is now. It stops you from getting the shakes and lessens the effects of the alcohol withdrawal. But you know, I was on the anti-abuse, which means on dismissal. I was on it in there, and I'm not on it now because I don't need it. But if you take a drink with anti-abuse, fucking be careful, because you will end up in hospital on death's door. Do not fuck about drinking on anti-abuse. That's I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, I'm not a, you know, just disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm giving any medical advice, but it is common knowledge that if you take a drink on anti-abuse, it is very fucking dangerous. So do not do that if you're going to take anti-abuse, and that's the therapy they're trying to persuade you to. I've stopped taking that because I think it's quite a dangerous drug. If you relapse on that, you're going to end up in going to end up on death's door. So do not take that and drink. So yeah, but apart from that, just get your head down. If you are getting an admission to a detox, you know, don't be scared as well. They're there to help you. Don't be embarrassed of how you go in looking like. Some people come in, don't even have clothes because they've come from, you know, all sorts of different shit, and I had to go home and get my clothes and stuff like that, and I'd left my phone in the house, so I had to go back and get that. I came in with nothing. I just wanted to just get better, and it all slotted into place. Like I said, do what they tell you, do as they say, and you'll come out the other side better. And don't think because you come out of detox for 2 weeks that you conquered alcoholism or your addiction. You've got to carry on with recovery outside in the community. Hence why I go to AA meetings in the community and still do, to remain sober, because if I don't, I will relapse. It's as simple as that. So that's just sort of insight of what a detox is like here in the UK and what to expect. If you've got any questions and you're getting admitted one to yourself, and you're worried, you want me to answer a few questions on anything really, recovery based, I'm happy to do that. I'm thinking of going live soon on one of these videos and doing a Q&A. Let me know about the feedback on that, if that's something you'd be interested in. And maybe getting a few guests on, doing a podcast, you know, just to switch it up a bit, making a bit more content so it's not all samey. So I'll leave you to it. Hope you have a good rest of the week, and peace.